Solo il cane che abbaia, però provate a dirlo.
So welcome everyone to pre-Christmas Wines of Italy live stream with a guest actually from Tuscany. So we're going to talk about Tuscan wine today, and actually in an area that is Chianti, that I don't often have guests from Chianti actually. I think it's more Chianti Classico and other areas. So I think it's going to be interesting, and if you have, as usual, if you have any questions, you can ask them, and if you have any comments, you can also make them in the comments below. And if you want to jump in and ask questions, you can also get the link to jump in and say hello. I will put the link to his website and also to my newsletter, so you can sign up if you want to. So let's get started. So welcome, Fabrizio. Fabrizio from Podere Dell'Anselmo, or Anselmi, close to Montespertoli. So do you want to present yourself briefly?
Well, right. Great pleasure to present to the people that's looking after us, and great pleasure also to stay with Caterina to taste together. Because we were meeting last summer in a marvelous tasting, and I was really surprised for both the skill from the perception of the wine, and also the skill about being someone that really loved the product in all the not just in the sense of the tasting, but also really loving all and taking care of putting the same attention to all the part of the making a wine. Because making a wine is not just making a wine. Because actually, I'm not a winemaker. I'm much more a great producer, someone that try to take out from the vineyard the best. Take out from the vineyard the best, knowing everything. Like we were speaking that. We know in everything, all the chain from the planting of the vineyard to putting the wine in the bottle, and it's giving a great possibility to have in my wine big expressivity. This expressivity is I try to point out and to have this expressivity that's coming out every year, to give the possibility to every year to express the best message directly and carry these messages from the grapes to the bottle. That's my idea. The declination of my idea, it involves a lot of things. Taking care of all the process, taking care of all the people that is working with us, also in a difficult year like this year. That is was making us to face something quite unexpected. And but we already all we know that the crew is and it was could finish, but is no one understand that can be switched off like it was. And for me, it was a great occasion to go back in my cellar with the big quiet, without having a lot of people with me tasting, and also actually we are suffering a lot for the financial aspect, but it's not a big part. And also for the people who's working, we have a lot of people at home, but also a lot of people that are still working with me. So we go on, and we keep the same everything we are keeping. We are keeping the horse breeding. We are still feeding the horses. Also, it was a difficult year, but because it's something quite fundamental for them. And everything was working. We have a great harvest for the marvelous weather, and not a big quantity. Not great like the 2019, but maybe for some Sangiovese really interesting. Sangiovese is quite difficult fellow. Not every harvest is ripening properly, and you need every time to wait a little longer to have these ready for the picking. Despite we do also some with Sangiovese early pick, like the Agua Rosé, and what I was opening before when we are not online. Maybe we need to have a glass of wine while we speak. It's a white wine.
Cool. So your image is a bit. Now you're here.
Every time complain. I'm my personal bodyguard. Sorry.
Okay. So how long have you been making wine? I mean, how did you come? Have you always been a winemaker, or did you do something else before?
Oh, sorry, Caterina, I was losing the audio.
Okay, so I was asking if you've always been making wine, or if you did something else before. I mean, how did is it a family?
Well, my first job was making the harvest with the family. And when I'm speaking about making the harvest with the family, I'm not speaking about when I was growing up, but when I was barely standing on my feet, and I was having the first love. It was love at the first glance. I was they were losing me in the vineyard, but not because I was escaping from the vineyard. They were escaping, continuing the harvest. It's so funny, but they told me, because I don't remember, maybe I was just 2. And after 1 hour, you go in the row, you go next row, and they can no more find me. I still went, my grandfather said, maybe let's go give a look where we live in. And I was still at the same plant, eating all the grapes. Before I was starting with the good one, and when they arrived, I was already arrived to eat the green and the rotted one. And I mean, I don't know which harvest it was. Maybe it was 1973, 2 years old.
Okay.
And at the time, the harvest and also the way of working in the vineyard was much different. And we were still in the whole property where my grandfather was a sharecropper. And there was a big property that was before in the property of Antinori. And after Antinori was selling during the Second World War. And so we are making, my family was for 300 years following the different, since when was starting the Podere. And also my idea to maintain the Podere name more than put out my name was something nice, because Podere was making the shape of Tuscany, and also if the life in Podere was not that easy. Sometimes you have the narrow Podere where you can barely survive, and especially in the good area that now are famous, Montalcino, the higher part of Chianti, the ground was not so much fertile. And also here, the little nickname, not a nice nickname, of my Podere was Ingannamatti. Ingannamatti translated means that only a mad can take this land. It was not that fertile.
Okay.
And only, there were particular things, we have a lot of water here. So we have also a mill down here. And this was giving us some particular freshness in the wine that we find in the Trebbiano, that is vinified with no skin contact, going directly in the, I'm quite, for the white and the rosé, till now I'm quite following my whole idea about making wine with not too big tannins, but giving really the expressivity of the juice. Because we have something really nice in our Trebbiano, something really nice in our Malvasia, something really nice also in our Sangiovese vinified without the skin. Sangiovese from Sangiovese to remember. No, I don't want to tell Pinot Noir because everyone is telling about it. But it's a different expressivity than Merlot and Cabernet. And the elegance is carrying up so good. We make rosé made like the white wines. And this year we have also research with the university for this. We are making a research of the vinification of Sangiovese rosé, but actually in white. But I don't take out the color, so my rosé is coming. I have you.
So he's going to get a bottle, I think, of the rosé wine. Let's see if he's a bit disappearing every now and then. I'm sorry.
Lunch. I don't know if you can see the color. The color for the wine is not important, but it's telling us that we work like maybe you can remember about some Pinot Grigio that was having this this color, because also Pinot Grigio was came in Ramato. And now it's no more like this. Now it's crystal clear. Too much color for this, but it's and this I made the drain press. Go directly to the drain press, and it's nice because we pick by hand. And picking by hand, I have the possibility of picking Sangiovese not all together, but to pick the grapes that is not good for. Yes, during the harvest is something quite particular. They speaking that I'm a little too maniacal in the selection of the grape, too maniacal. But after, the cleanness of the wine, the cleanness of the method that we carry is only possible if you're really not perfect. You cannot be perfect, but not also the opposite. So yeah, we have to manage good. And the harvest is really like the war, when you have no more friend and no more family and no more, you know, more. Well, it happens not only for the harvest, also for other people. But when you are really winemaker, a lot of time you feel that really your family is the vineyard and the cellar. And well, it's like this, not regret.
You're breaking up a bit.
That is so I'm happy about that.
The sound is breaking up a bit. Do you have any headphones? Ce l'hai delle cuffie? Perché non si sente molto bene.
Non
si sente molto bene.
Anch'io I have the same problem.
Perché blocchi, sei un po' a tratti.
I have some. I can try to connect also with the link on the. Let me give you a look. If it was arriving there.
It doesn't. Cioè non mi fa mandare, non so perché dice. Capito.
To me, I'm not hitting the. StreamYard. I try to put on the.
Okay, so I'm sorry we have a bit of a technical problem today, but ora dovrebbe essere arrivato, credo. So we're talking to Fabrizio, who has his winery in the Montespertoli area, so it's the Chianti area. And as he said before, we met at tasting in the summer. So let's see if we manage to get on the computer. Ciao Evelyn, abbiamo un po' di problemi tecnici perché non si sente. We have a bit of technical problems because I do not hear him very well. And there's a bit, I think it's because he's on the phone. Sei riuscito? È arrivato? Anyway, so I also have a bottle that he gave me. Ci sei? So we're just waiting if we can get on the computer. Ma sei riuscita?
Mi sta dicendo di scaricare Chrome.
Perché non funziona. Per quello che dovevamo fare prima.
Sì. Discolpa mia, è sempre in ritardo.
No, fa niente. È che...
Oggi ero in giro, consegne piccole,
no,
consegne per...
Tranquillo. Ma se c'hai delle cuffie magari riusciamo. Non ce l'hai le cuffie? Le cuffie? Non ce le hai?
No.
No. Vabbè, parliamo. Io ti scriverò le domande su... Boh, non lo so dove ti scriverò le domande. Se non mi senti, non so cosa fare. Facciamo che parli, non so se mi senti o meno, non riesco a capire.
And quality consistency standing up.
Sì, si sente qualcosa, ma è molto a tratti. No, è che sono a tratti e poi si sente un sacco di rumore perché probabilmente sul telefono ci sono tutti questi piccoli rumori di... E poi blocchi, non so perché, sei bloccato ogni tanto. Okay, so I don't know. This is going a bit. We have a bit of a problem today because he's disappearing, and it doesn't. He doesn't hear me. I don't hear him very well. So let's see if we can manage to. I think it's because he's on the phone, and everything seemed to work before, but I don't know why. There is no.
Se funziona meglio.
No, è che sei bloccato, non si vede nulla.
Riprovo? Un po' meglio o no?
No, l'immagine è
Vediamo cosa
bloccato.
dire.
Si vede solo. Eh? Non lo so che cosa fare perché non ti sento, sei bloccato. Ok, ora sei così.
Vediamo adesso. Mi senti?
Io ti sento, sì, tu?
Ops, no, ti vedo, fermo.
Non lo so. Ora ti vedo, io non so se mi senti o meno perché non riesco a capire. Non so, perché io non so se mi senti o se non mi senti. Pronto? Okay, so I don't think this is going to work because we can't go on like this.
Sì, eccomi.
Ma lo senti o non mi
Adesso forse
senti?
ce la facciamo?
Sì, ma è che siamo live facendo queste
Mi
cose,
senti?
non è che possiamo stare qui.
Io ti sento benissimo adesso.
Ok, vabbè, riprendiamo. Let's see if we can return to. So we were talking about the area. So if you can talk a bit more about the terroir and what is typical about the area in Montespertoli.
Well, speaking about the terroir is something a little similar, not just in Montespertoli, not just, but we have an area. It is a little patchwork where we have to face like in the same vineyard that I have here, just 500 meters, we have the lower part of the valley where we mix a kind of wine, and the upper part of the hill where we do another kind of wine. And here, what is really the particular things is that here the salted soil is quite close to the surface. Only 80 centimeters we have not salted. That is easier to cultivate, and this is giving us a kind of land that is full of minerals and with really little granulometry. This giving us a big quantity of natural spring water that's coming up for capillarity and is feeding the roots of my vineyard. And since when I'm starting before with biologic, with organic, and after with biodynamic, following biodynamic idea, I was finding out that the vineyard is really well balanced, and the result of this is that the roots is going a little deeper, and are not being fed by the chemical that you give on the surface, but we are making them to survive what they find in the ground. Actually, we lost almost half of the production for the yield, but we get so much in terms of the taste of the Sangiovese, and in terms also of the how healthy is the grape, and this is giving us the possibility of making something different also during the extraction, and because also the protection of the skin using even less copper is taking advantage, which we maintain the natural defense from the plant. And this is quite easy to think. It's difficult also sometimes because you feel like someone that is not giving the proper cure to a little child that is there. But actually, if we want to solve the problem having too short-term idea, I think we are losing the big work that we do in the year for maintaining back, starting from the horses compounding that is feeding my vineyard since 20 years. And now we are feeding the vineyard almost only with this. And only in the new vineyard, we are giving some help. And but still only with organic coming from different kind of animals. But because the horses compounding is not giving so much, and we make a compost made following a little the biodynamic idea. I have to confess, now it's more than 25 years that I'm doing this. So I was finding my way about composting, and also with the big amount of compost that now I'm doing. Because when you're speaking about 100 kilo of compost, it's easy to make all the things. When you're speaking about 100 kilo production, 200 kilo production per day, we have to work in a little different way. But what I was finding out that if we leave this to mature and give the possibility to develop this, after we have something amazing, we have a living ground. And because the inheritance that I was having from my grandfather, much more the nice house and a nice house before was not nice. Now it's not that bad. But what I was having some particular terroir, and this particular terroir is nice for me even more because actually I was growing with this kind of wine, and growing with this kind of wine means that all my taste was a little based on this kind of wine coming from this vineyard that was maintaining good acidity, and also working without any protection, working with natural yeast. The best protection that you can give to your wine is to have good acidity.
Yeah.
And it's also the best for having long-lived wine. And so
you're
I was trying to use the terroir at the best, and this was making me to use some different kind of roots, and the roots that are really going quite deep and quite energetic in order to work good also without chemical compounding.
So you're organic,
and for this is also we have a big in the first years we have big vigoria.
Okay.
And now the vineyard, they learn and they are quite well balanced, and being well balanced, we can trust this kind of vineyard even to live a little longer. And we are making some. We have some. It's a cold ground. Like in the 2017, I was experiencing the most severe frost of my career, and we are losing here 70% of the production. But after now we have a nice reserve from this year. 2017, this you haven't tasted. Is taking all the power from the year, and also remembering us of such a difficult year. And the difficult year was difficult because there was a frost in the spring, and after was extremely hot. And now we are facing something new. Also, every year I work a little different with my vineyard, and the difference that we have is not caused from also from different idea, different approach, and different way of behaving of the wine. So and also it's changing my taste. All my wine a little follow my taste, and my taste remember still the wine that I was tasting when I was young, but also now it's growing, and I'm facing also again the school for tasting of wine, and trying to find also new stimulation to do something more. And it's coming out. I have new wine that I was producing, And I was really happy about these wines. We are having a really big review. And despite their normal one, I was not using no special effect. And it's even better for me that is the people appreciate to make wine. This area is an area that where we make much more only wine made for 1 year, and this not really what is on my opinion, the best idea for this kind of ground. We have heavy ground
Can you?
where if
Do you
you
hear
give the possibility to the wine.
Do you hear me? Sorry, do you listen to me? Do you hear me? No.
Yes.
Could you talk a bit more about because you're organic, or are you also biodynamic, or are you just using biodynamic methods?
I'm certified organic.
Okay.
And also, if I was never writing on my wine, now it's the first year that I'm writing on my olive oil.
Okay.
And this year I was making a long course about the modern biodynamic. I was really loving the idea, the philosophy of this, because I think that is the big idea before Steiner from Goethe was this, to understand also something that now maybe is easy to understand, that is sometimes science is giving us good answer, but they are not absolute. And so we like to think that there is something different, and this something different also in the way of developing the wine, and this biodynamic idea that can I was studying civil engineer, and so I was trained to think that science can give you all the possibility of running and of ruling all the variables that you have. After working in the vineyard, I understood it's not true. And a lot of time we are speaking not with just something. The plants, they have a behavior. They have some problem that they can be solved, or some problem that they can solve by themselves much better than us. And so sometimes it's painful to wait, but like painful to wait, I remember when in Italy, everyone, just to give an example, I don't want to speak about vaccine, but when there was the virus of the influence, they were giving us every time antibiotics as first things. Maybe it was not that clever. And maybe also in the vineyard, we are doing the same. Have a really big instrument using when we don't need. And so after making the plant became resistant and losing this big possibility that was given to us. And it's really something that is not that clever from us. The plants behave in much more clever way sometimes. And what is horrible, the plant, they cannot change owner. In my vineyard, that stay with me, and so it's not like a cat that can go to the neighbor if you're not keeping good.
That is true.
And speaking about the wine, for me was a great occasion.
Sorry?
We can speak also about the wine, no?
Yeah, of course. I didn't hear.
To develop this new vineyard and to plant new vineyard.
Yeah.
Because with this we can. I was having the possibilities of putting my idea really in reality. Time was difficult. I lost some year of production because of my no fertilization. But after, when I was having the vineyard ready, I have now really less problem of. There is big problem that is killing all the population of the vineyard, and the vineyard that was maintained in a more natural way. I find out that they're developing, they don't want me to tell, because they tell that it's not possible to speak about the immunitary system of the plant. But there's so much we don't know about them. We don't know about them. And they have one, they're developing. And I was finding out also when I was taking some vineyard from some friends, and it was difficult to recreate the same situation of of strength in the vineyard, natural strength. And but after 2 or 3 years, I was finding out that this is going better, and now I'm really happy about the next year, where we'll have some new vineyard in production, and and really we continue to work, and being aware that the market is no more that welcoming to everyone, and so we have to, and I didn't want before to face this. We don't need the market, but after it's not true, because also if you're a little farm, you have a dynamic thing, so you have to take care about your reputation on the guide, about what you see. Also, now making only good wine is no more enough. We need also to communicate.
No, that's true. That's
also the idea that I love also what you are doing with the wine, about to communicate what is the reality of the small production, and the reality, the problem of the small production. And I feel quite. But
how many bottles do you make?
Spoiled about having a so good situation, and I feel quite spoiled.
How many bottles do you make totally? How many bottles do you make? Quante bottiglie fai?
Last 2019, I was bottling 60,000 bottles. 2020, we stopped a little lower to 40,000, but it's also good because I was going a little too fast, and I prefer to have the possibility of the evolution for my Sangiovese, and the evolution of Sangiovese takes at least 3 years. Also, if the perfection for some Sangiovese can be a couple of years more. And so sometimes I have a little cellar. I was a little increasing the production. I was making a project in my cellar that was is a continuation of the project I was doing, starting from the first vat and the first pump in the little garage that we have under here. That was it was going back to be cellar, and now 10 years ago I was investing so much for building a new cellar, following my idea, and made under the old cellar, and 2 different levels for making a little gravitational idea for the wine, and in the new V's I was increasing the selection of the grape, and I was putting up a special refrigerator where I put all my grapes before working them, and so this clear maceration is making great difference, because I can work now. Now sorry for technical problem. The fault of being secluded here in the countryside. Next time we do at home from Caterina.
I think we have to redo it.
And it's better connection, and maybe it's good because we can taste the wine. Because having a good taster is good to use also the taste of Caterina. I don't know if you still have. But
if we talk about the wines, se parliamo dei vini. Se parliamo dei vini, prima che magari dopo finiamo.
Dei vini.
No, perché mi ricordo del Trebbiano.
In my white and the rosé, but actually.
Sì, però fai anche il Trebbiano macerato, no?
Di quale vino in particolare?
Cioè il Trebbiano mi ricordo che è macerato, no?
Sì, però non è mai fino adesso. Perché adesso non è mai stato imbottigliato. Forse il prossimo anno. E noi facciamo un Sangiovese che fa pista, e dopo io ti parlerei dei nostri Sangiovesi, di cui abbiamo 3 cru in sequenza. Mi sarebbe bellino raccontare un po' dal primo, che è la prima bottiglia, la prima etichetta che ho fatto. Prima era la unica etichetta che facevo, a cui abbiamo affiancato dopo nel tempo una riserva, che è un cru nella parte più alta di Inganamatti, questo nome chiama questo nome, a cui si è affiancato Qual è?
No, ce l'ho
Chianamatti.
ancora.
Apriamo il Chianamatti, allora dai. Che è quello.
Sì.
Che annata è, Caterina?
16, 16,
Quale annata?
2016. 16.
Quale annata hai lì?
16. Sì.
Io qui mi manco 8, 7 e 15. Però io visto che ci sono quasi apro il 15. Che è una bellissima annata, di cui si parlerà perché stanno arrivando i migliori Brunelli 15 che hanno una certa similitudine con questo vino perché questo viene da un clone da Montalcino che è il BBS 11 che è una sigla di un produttore famoso di quello che ha creato il Brunello e piantato da me nel 2001 e nel 2015 la prima volta che ho fatto una raccolta selettiva solo di questo e la produzione non è stata molto grande, abbiamo fatto soltanto 2600 bottiglie, però è stato bello l'accoglienza che ha avuto questo vino, insomma, perché secondo me era una cosa molto tenue e difficile da comprendere la qualità di questo sangiovese, invece poi ho scoperto che non era solo una sensazione mia, ma era davvero una persona vasta a cui che ho sempre travasato io, che ho sempre messo, a cui ho comprato anche 2 botti da 1000 litri. Io ero per barrique, e poi invece mi sono trovato con questo vino che secondo me ha bisogno di qualcosa di diverso, ha bisogno di un'evoluzione più lenta.
So he's talking
avevo anche insieme a me un bravissimo
So he's talking about this 2015, which is another
ho messo un nome un po'.
Come si chiama?
Ora.
Ah, sì. So era ora in English it's like it was time, it was the right time. So it's a Chianti or Sangiovese of his where you used big barrels. I think it's 2015, so it's a particular. It was a very warm year, a good year. But
it could be a Chianti Montespertoli, but it was probably like
what? No,
this is a Chianti, should have been a Chianti Montespertoli, but I was botting like Tuscan red because it was so much different from what I was doing before.
Okay. So it was supposed to be a Chianti, but he made it into a.
What is nice in this wine, we maintain something balsamic.
So is balsamic typical for your area?
Caterina, with this one I was. Yes, and we have they see something like flowers in the nose. But also in the nose is coming out this particular note coming from this new barrel, 1,000 liter. The barrel French oak aged in Austria from a good producer.
Okay.
And it was also finding back to work with this kind of vat that I was a little refusing when it was old and bad smelling when I was finding from my grandfather in the cellar, and I was taking out with my hand. And but it was different. This was all things made of chestnut and quite aggressive to the wine, and no more that waterproof and so not really a good bargain for the vinification. Now this wine was vinified in stainless steel, and after the malolactic fermentation, it was in this barrel for 1,000 liters for 3 years, and it's nice also having the possibility of making it a longer aging in the barrel, because in the first period you have only the sensation of smoky and coming from the first part of the wood, but after it's getting so much so fat sensation that is that in this wine was a little surprising. Now I was not opening this, but I love this, and normally in my dinner with everything I have this, even with the fish. This is my normal wine, and I think if you want to know
The Chianti
about
one.
the possibility of a farm. You have to take some exceptional harvest and exceptional, but it's also really interesting to take the standard. Some of the wine should be really the base of all the wine.
Did you mean the Chianti, or which one? Which wine are you talking about now?
Ho perso.
Di quale vino stai parlando? Del Chianti?
I'm not producing any Chianti, only
okay.
Chianti Cru, Montespertoli. Because I think that the future of Chianti should be to take out the particular things from the area, not just to make one big denomination for 600 million of bottle. This you can do with Prosecco, and the Prosecco is fair, because Prosecco can be quite standard wine, but it's a lot of things to do. And a lot of expressivity that is we are losing if we don't. And all the Montespertoli till now is the smallest crew of Chianti. And now I'm preparing something Gran Selezione from Chianti. It will be ready in 2 years. They just has to make this. And I love this from Chianti Classico, not because of the name. I love this because the Gran Selezione of Chianti Classico can only be bottled from the producer. It's not the wine that was passing through the hand of the merchant. And this is so clear in French when you have there's nothing written on the label. It's not if it's a négociant or if it's a real vigneron. And we write a lot of things, and we lose the importance of telling that this is really handmade. It's like painting by yourself a picture or making a photo. No, this is the game. But it's true because after you're like a kind of barman that is making the best things with the things you find on the market, and barman can be nice, but something different. And I think also this should be different. The importance that we give also when we taste this.
Now we lost him
to speak about this kind of wine, and I have to confess, the quality of the standard wine was increasing in the last year, and I'm happy about this. Really happy.
Yeah.
And even now, it's much more important also for us to have a good sensation and try to communicate finally what is really the strong point of our wines. And like for this, I'm making some confusion, changing the wine every year. I'm making new label, and this is good because now also the communication is easier. Everyone can. Before I remember about speaking about wine Bourgogne, you need to go to find a book and to look for this. Now it's so easy. All the information is available for everyone, and this is something really great. And we are facing a new era also for.
Okay.
After we are every time a little slave of the season. If the season is not perfect, it's difficult to make good expressivity. But for 2014, there was a big bottle that was here before. It was considered not to be one of the best harvest. But I was making, I still have reserve of 2014. And I love so much this because it's remembering me about I was doing the wine before when maybe I was not having so ripening of the grapes and living a little more on the flower side of on the iris, on the hyacinth. That is something that was quite.
Okay.
Now in the Chianti we can have much bigger expressivity. We can have really sensational well ripened Sangiovese. And what is the message that we want to do is really try to go back to the roots, to go back to the really the production of the fruit, and this is really what is the reality about wine.
Okay. But why did you say you don't make Chianti? But you do make Chianti, no? No, perché prima hai detto che non fai un Chianti, ma Chianti lo fai, no? No, hai detto prima che non fai il Chianti.
Montespertoli. Non è normale Chianti.
Ok.
Faccio Montespertoli e Chianti Montespertoli.
Ok.
Sono gli unici due che faccio. Incomincerò a fare Chianti con questa nuova denominazione che dà la possibilità al produttore di fare, almeno penso, e poi ci sta che cambi idea, perché ho anche vigneti nel Chianti, ho vigneti nel Chianti Olifrentini, e dove per adesso faccio più rossi toscani, perché penso che mi dia più la possibilità di esprimermi e che il mercato mi premi di più, perché purtroppo devo sempre fare aiutare, riuscire a vendere il vino, riuscire a riscuoterlo. Con questa situazione dei ristoranti non è sempre la cosa più facile, anche perché tanto spesso a volte sei amico di questi clienti, anche un po' collegato, insomma, non puoi stravolgere quelle che possono essere le... È bello questo legame di appartenenza dei produttori.
So is that the
Adesso questo periodo stiamo lavorando molto con i privati, che prima venivano qui da noi.
Okay, so I think that
switching to Italian, sorry.
No, va bene, però penso che finiamo qua, magari rifacciamo il live un altro giorno, che si capisce meglio, che dici?
E continuiamo prima.
No, che rifacciamo un altro giorno, perché non si sente molto, quindi...
Mi dispiace di aver fatto tutto questo.
No, tranquillo. No, mi dispiace per te, perché non si riesce a...
Volentierissimo. E ora ci scambiamo gli auguri noi.
Sì, rimani comunque, rimani...
di ascoltare.
Rimani in linea. Non chiudere.
Sì, rimango.
Okay, so I think we're going to redo this because I know it's hard to listen today because there's a lot of noise around. So we will just find another day when both of us have time, and we'll try and fix all these problems, and so we can hear it properly. But thank you very much for today, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and also to Fabrizio. So I hope to see you soon, and perhaps next week there will be another type of live stream with another colleague of mine, Carol, an American who lives close to Valdarno, but we will tell you more about that later on. But it's going to be something very unofficial or very kind of informal. So I think we just finish here today. You can find a link to his winery in the comments below. And as I said, we will be back another time with a better connection. Buon Natale a te, Evelyn. Ciao.